As this program was being planned, a lot of the family members wanted to be part of this activity, even the grandkids. The older grandkids in the family, they wanted to reflect on a few memories, say a few things about Mom and Daddy. And we'll start with the oldest, my daughter, Allison. Allison will introduce the rest of the grandkids who will have a few words to say. Allison?
On behalf of the grandkids, I would like to thank you all for coming out here and celebrating this golden anniversary of our Mima and Papa. Okay, Mima and Papa has 18 grandkids. Could be more coming, I don't know. But the 7 oldest would like to share some of their thoughts, feelings, and stories that we've accumulated over the years that we feel have impacted our lives. Okay? And Mima and Papa, thank you for being role models, teachers, and wonderful grandparents to us, as well as raising wonderful mothers and fathers for us. Okay, Daniel will lead off our tribute.
Mima and Papa they love their family. Now, if you don't believe it, you come around to the McCain household like 5 minutes before they eat, because all of a sudden the door opens from nowhere. About 30 people just all come rushing, at least whenever I'm there. And sometimes Mima will even get up from the table and, somebody comes and sits down, and she might even go without food just so she can feed all of us. As you probably know, I live in Nigeria, and Mima, I'm sure she has plenty to do, but she always finds time to write us, and it always makes us feel good. And when Mima and Papa would call, they would always give us, the interesting facts, like who shot the biggest point buck, of the year. It's always good to hear stuff like that. Now, as Aunt Bertie said, Mima paid for us to come over here just to be here for tonight. And somebody told me that she sold jelly to do that. And I got Allison right before the show to figure out how much jelly it would take to bring us home. And I think we figured out it was 1,920 jars of jelly to bring us here. And anyone that can sell 1,920 jars of jelly to bring us here must love their family.
Mima and Papa have always been a good example of Christ for us grandchildren. They have always attended church faithfully, though their church has not had a pastor for a while. Their faith has been shown in their deeds. They always are very patient with us and loving. And for that I'm very grateful, because I have made many mistakes. I really like to thank you, Mima and Papa, for this rich Christian heritage you've given us. I love you. Thank you.
Mima and Papa are very giving people. They're very unselfish, and they always treat people with respect. One example I can think of how giving they are is they always let their family, no matter how many people are, just come in and eat dinner with them. They never say, no, you can't have dinner, or we don't have enough. And if they don't have enough, they'll make more. And another thing is, while the uncles and aunts are all at work, they can take care of their grandchildren for the day. And I just think it's really nice that they're very special people, and I like to thank them.
We live in a time where we, as Americans, have little faith in the integrity of our politicians. It is not uncommon to hear such comments as, all politicians are corrupt, or you can't trust the politician. Well, I here to tell you that I know one politician who we can trust, and that's my grandfather, Ron McCain. He is a man of his word. Not only is he hardworking and dedicated, but he is honest, and he always made decisions that he believed would benefit his constituency, not decisions that would benefit himself or would benefit prospects of him getting reelected. Okay. Over the years, knowing that my grandfather has been involved in politics has helped me to have faith that there are honest politicians out there, actually. And maybe many of you don't have that faith, but if you knew my grandfather, then you would know there really are honest politicians out there. Many of us never know who the honest politicians are because oftentimes a lot of events that lead to their decision making is done in a clandestine or secretive manner. As you know, he was a police juror, and several times when he was running for re-election, each time I wanted to write a letter to the voters over here and say, you know, you need to vote for this man. This is an honest man. He will work for you. But I never did because I thought that everyone would think, oh, I hear that all the time at election time, and you know, it's most of the time it's not true, but with Papa, it really would have been true. And well, Papa's not running for re-election, and I'm not here trying to promote his political career. I just wanted everyone to know that I wanted to credit him with giving me this faith that there are actually honest politicians out here because he's the example of that. And I wanted to thank him for the loyalty and honesty that he has showed to the people of Ward 10 as well as to the promises of our great country.
I think Aunt Bertie has done a really good job of telling about the humor in the McCain household, especially about Meemaw's practical jokes. But laughter has always been a very important part of what I remember of my grandparents and their household. And Aunt Bertie told about the time that she played Happy Birthday all day to her on her birthday. And I remember her telling me about that. She was just laughing so hard. But I remember another time before Uncle Randy and Aunt Angie were married, when Meemaw wrapped a gift with baby food in it. But it was about this big, and it took Aunt Angie about 30 minutes to unwrap layer after layer after layer. And that was just one of the memories that really stuck in my mind about the laughter in the McCain household. And I remember lots of times just sitting around and listening to stories and just watching Meemaw and Papa laugh. And I'm really grateful that they have handed on that tradition to my dad and all my other aunts and uncles, just to be able to laugh. And so,
I'm here to talk about the food in the McCain family. If you've been in the McCain family for a long time, you've noticed that food is probably the most important thing in the whole family. Me and my family, we're from Houston, Texas. Anytime we'd come up, Meemaw would go out of her way to put dumplings together for my sister or myself. I like corn, or basically whatever. She'd put it together for us, and we'd be eating it, and she'd be in the back corner just sitting there cleaning other things and such. But I found two theories about the McCain food, some secrets I think that need some scientific evidence to be found out if this is true or not. First of all, if you notice the McCain family, there's a bunch of younger children over there, and it gets real crazy and hyper sometimes, and they all seem to jump on me and thinking I'm a little playboy. But it seems as soon as the food gets put on the table, there's not a peep at anyone. So it might be some kind of natural accent in that, I'm not sure. And second of all, Papa and Meemaw, it doesn't matter if Meemaw's cooking or Papa's cooking, it's always going to be a good meal. It's during Christmas time or any holiday, people claim to come down to be with the family for Christmas. However, I think when it's Christmas time, people don't seem to show up until it's dinner time. They make sure they're off work when the dinner's on the table, but if it's just during the day, we're just messing around. There's only 3 or 4 of us there. But if dinner's on the table, you can be assured that Barry, Randy, Kenny, everybody else is there. So I just want to thank them. Of course, there's more than food to it, and I really appreciate everything they've done for me. And maybe another 50 years, who knows? Thank you.
One of the things that we most appreciate about our grandparents is the great heritage of stories that they've told us. We especially like the stories about our parents when they were little because it gives us a handle on them. You know, you can't tell me that because Mima told me you were just like me when you were a little kid. When I was a little kid, she used to send me tapes of stories and nursery rhymes and books that I would listen to, and I really enjoyed them. I remember one specific time, she sent me a tape of Dr. Seuss' story, Horton Hatches the Egg. And I loved that tape and listened to it over and over again. Being a child with a logical mind, I decided that if an elephant who was much bigger than I was could hatch an egg, like he did in the story, then I certainly should be able to. And I thought that having a bird would be a nice thing to have as a pet, so I made myself a nest out of all my mother's couch cushions and blankets and put an egg from the refrigerator down the middle of it and sat on it very carefully. And it did great, and I was happy. And so I thought, well, if one bird is good, then a whole dozen of them should be very good. So I got all the eggs in the refrigerator, piled them in the middle, and flopped down. And then I discovered that, well, maybe an elephant could, but I certainly couldn't. So I didn't want to worry my mother unnecessarily with the mess I'd made, so I just took all of the stuff that was messed up and threw it out the back door onto the patio. I thought, you know, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Then I went upstairs and changed my clothes and went and sat back down quite quietly. My mom was upstairs and she told me she looked out the window and saw something in the yard. She's like, what in the world is all of that stuff in the backyard? So she went out and looked. She said, these are my couch cushions, but what is this all over them? And she came and confronted me with the evidence, and I broke down and said, I just wanted to hatch an egg, my goodness, story. Fortunately, my mother inherited Meemaw's sense of humor, otherwise I might not be here to tell the tale. Meemaw and Papa, we appreciate all the great stories that you told us and the heritage that we have from all of you.
We are the older grandchildren, and we've told the things that we appreciate and remember about Meemaw and Papa. But this is only the beginning. There are a lot more grandchildren out there. There are 18 of us, and the younger ones, a good many of them live around here. So they have stories about what it is day-to-day life with Meemaw and Papa. None of us have lived with them really, but a lot of the others have. So although we 18 have many different memories of you, Meemaw and Papa, I think I can say safely for us all that we love you and appreciate your impact on our lives very much. Thank you.